Everyone. I was sitting at the back and hearing all the conversations happening around what will you guys do when you become CEO or the board members. I think none of you actually brought up more security for AI. So maybe AI is more of like exciting thing for CEOs, but I'm definitely sure it is giving sleepless nights to CISOs. We have all witnessed the rise of Gen AI applications over last few years. In fact, since the launch of ChatGPT in late 2022, we have seen a massive increase in development, deployment, and usage of these applications. And with the rise in usage of Gen AI applications, it has increased the amount of risk that you see. In fact, the amount of security breaches have also become a lot more. So in next 20 minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the latest innovation from Palo Alto Networks, which is around AI access. And I'll also talk about how it can help you to protect your enterprises against the risks that are associated with Gen AI applications. So we all know that the number of Gen AI applications are increasing at a rapid pace. As per the estimate, we have around 2,400 Gen AI applications which are currently there. Hey, I'm sorry, there's nothing coming on the screen. Sorry for an interruption. We have around 2,400 Gen AI applications that are out there. And in addition to this, if you look at what analysts are predicting, that in the next 6 years, we expect to have around 12,000 applications. So that's the extent of expansion that is going to happen in this space. Now these applications will solve for various use cases. But with increase of the applications, it adds to a lot of challenges from security perspective. For example, we see that there are around 56% of the users who are actually accessing the applications which are not approved by our IT team, by our InfoSec team. And if there are 56% of the users who are accessing these applications, there is a problem of blind spots that has been created. And this is a serious problem that we need to look into. In the panel just before this, I think there was a mention of visibility, and I'll talk about why solving for this blind spots with Shadow AI is important. The second risk is around sensitive data. I think this is very, very important for all of us. And this is mainly because if you're not able to inspect the Gen AI applications, it will be a challenge because your sensitive enterprise data might leak out. You are not able to really monitor the responses and the prompts that are happening with these applications. So that becomes a very, very important criteria. The third key risk is around malicious content. So it's possible that the Gen AI application responds to the user query with a content which is malicious. The content could include the malicious URL, it can include the phishing URLs. So we have to be aware about it and we have to protect our enterprises from these kind of attacks. And when I'm talking about it, it is not just the native Gen AI application. If you look at it, these days the SaaS applications, they are also infused with AI. Think about Zoom. You have this AI tool inside Zoom which helps you transcribe. And slowly we are seeing that almost every SaaS application is getting infused with AI. So this problem is exploding. And the biggest challenge is we don't know how these AI applications are actually using the data that is getting uploaded in the AI applications. If you look at this from the data upload perspective, it is possible that your employee who has no malicious intent and they are trying to get their work done and they uploaded our enterprise confidential data into this application. In the digital age that we are currently living in, I think you all will agree with me that data is the new oil. And the stakes are high if it is your enterprise corporate data that is getting leaked out. So that's why this becomes very, very important to monitor employees, no malicious content, but they might be leaking out the data. The next thing, and which is again very, very important, if you look at it, the SaaS applications are all interconnected to each other. So if you look from the perspective of applications interconnect, that is achieved with the help of the third-party integrations, and it is also achieved with the help of various plugins that the users can actually download from the marketplace. Now this interconnection is good for the end users because it actually enhances their overall experience. But then it is a security challenge for the security teams. For example, in this case, you look at this, Zoom is actually interconnected to a lot of applications which are used in the enterprise, in the overall ecosystem. But then these interconnections create a problem of non-compliance. These interconnections create a problem of your data getting shared to the unapproved application. So these are some of the things that we need to worry about. With this, I'll just summarize the challenges that we are facing with the Gen AI applications. I'll talk about the challenges and the possible solutions for each of the challenge. So the first and foremost is the challenge of the increase in number of applications. So how do I come to know which are the applications that are used in my network? So what you need for this is, you need a good catalog. A catalog which is containing information about all the Gen AI applications that are there, and this catalog should not be static. This catalog should be dynamically getting updated on a frequent basis. The second key challenge is these AI applications, they store data, they process a lot of data, right? They use this data for training their models. Now the solution for this is to understand how the data is being used in these applications. Only if you are able to understand how the data is being used, you can control the access to these applications and secure your enterprise data. The third key challenge is around these applications. They actually take the data in a very unstructured way, and the output happens in various different formats. So how do you control data risk in these kind of applications? So the key thing that you need to do is, you need to have a solution that provides very granular data control, so that you are able to control the exfiltration of data that is happening through these applications. And last but not the least is around interconnection of these applications. So we need to get complete visibility into how these applications are getting interconnected, and we also need to understand how plugins are having permissions, whether you are not giving excessive permissions to the plugins. So these are some of the challenges and some of the possible solutions that we need to have. Now at this point, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce you to AI Access Security. This is the latest innovation from Palo Alto Networks. Actually, we have GA'd this product in this month. So this is the latest innovation that we have come up with. This is to protect the enterprises with Gen AI application adoption. And I'll talk about the features in 5 different buckets for this particular product that we have released. Starting with visibility. I think getting a visibility into what's happening in your network is very, very important, because you cannot really do anything till the time you know what is it that users are doing in your network. With this product, with AI Access, you get the complete visibility on which user is accessing which application, how many users are accessing a particular application, applications in various use cases. So for example, whether your employees are accessing the code assistants more or they are accessing the writing assistants more. So this will give you a good insights into what is the usage of AI applications inside your enterprise. We have a catalog of 600 plus AI applications, and in this catalog, we have applications which are related to Gen AI. And we will be continuously working on updating this catalog as we see more and more applications out there in the wild being used by the users. Now, there's a difference between a Gen AI application and a SaaS application. So for Gen AI application, we have identified a very specific set of attributes. We have defined 60 plus specific attributes for the Gen AI applications. These attributes include things like how the users are inputting the data, how they are extracting the data out of the application, how the data is being used inside the Gen AI application. So we are collecting all of that information. Our security research team in the background is collecting all of that information, classifying them with the help of different attributes, and all of that information is available to you at a click of a button. Now we have the visibility. The next step is to do access control. We need to define policies so that you can control the usage of Gen AI applications in your enterprise. The key thing here is to classify the applications into 3 buckets. So what you can do is you can define the applications as sanctioned applications. So the sanctioned applications are the applications which are approved by your IT teams, by your InfoSec teams, by your security teams, as applications which can be used by all users, because you see that there's a low risk associated with those applications. So you have sanctioned applications which is approved for all users in your enterprise. Then you can have a tolerated applications. We all have been in situations where the businesses comes to us and they ask us that this is an application that is used in the business and you need to approve it. So what we can do is we can define an application as tolerated, and it is only allowed to be accessed by a subset of users, a group of users. And then we have the third category, which is unsanctioned applications. So the applications which are not in the category of sanctioned and tolerated, they are unsanctioned applications. And our recommendation is to block access to unsanctioned applications. So basically with our AI Access product, you can define different classifications for the applications. And you can provide complete visibility and control for the applications that are being used in your enterprise. I talked about the data risks that are associated with Gen AI application. With AI Access Security, we have LLM powered models that actually are contextually aware of what data is being shared in various different formats. So using those models, we are able to define 300 plus categories of data. And with that, you can actually block access, you can restrict exfiltration of data happening from your enterprise. In addition to this, we have the inline protection. So when the user is actually exfiltrating the data or is sending the data out which is confidential to your enterprise, it can be identified and blocked in real time. In addition to this, we also have end user coaching. End user coaching is integrated with our agent as well as the Prisma Access browser. So Prisma Access browser is our enterprise browser, which is again the innovation that we have launched about a month back. The end user coaching is integrated with both of these two products that ensures that you are able to educate your end users about their risky behavior. And in addition to this, because it is integrated with Prisma Access browser and the enterprise browser sees all the traffic in clear text, we are able to provide you best of data securities. Talking about security control, we talked about the risk related to malicious content. So with secure access, you have mechanisms to control the security. You have mechanisms to identify that there is a malicious URL that is sent in the response to your query to the GenAI application. And that goes through the entire suite of the security products that we have to give you the best of protection. And last but not the least is around continuous risk monitoring. I think we talked about the sprawl and the continuous evolution of the applications. So continuous risk monitoring becomes a very, very important step. With our product, you get complete visibility. As I said, we will be continuously updating our catalogs. That will ensure that you get continuous monitoring of what's happening in your enterprise. It will also give you comprehensive reports about the usage patterns, and it will also give you a lot of recommendations which are very contextual in nature. So this will really help you with this 5-step process. It will help you to protect your enterprises against Gen AI application adoption. I'll cover a demo, maybe a 2 minutes demo, in which we will showcase the product. I'll take you through some of the dashboards, and we'll go through this. So if you look at this, can we roll the demo? So this is our command center. And in this you get which user is accessing which application, and it is going through which enforcement point, whether it is next generation firewall or Prisma Access. And this gives the complete details of different applications. You enable a Gen AI app, and this gets filtered out only for the Gen AI application. It also gives you the information about all the use cases for the different application. This is a dashboard that you get which gives the complete visibility into what's happening in your enterprise. It tells you the information about different use cases of Gen AI. In this example, it is audio generators and code assistants and various other use cases. And it also tells you about how many users are accessing Gen AI application and how many applications are being accessed. It gives you the information about how many of these applications and users are blocked and allowed based on the policy that you have. In addition to this, you get the information about which are the blocked applications and how many are the tolerated or unsanctioned applications. You also have sensitive data as to how much is the sensitive data that was exposed from this Gen AI applications, and you can further drill down into all of those things. Now let's take an example of one specific use case around conversation agents. So when you go inside a particular use case, you get the information about all the applications that are part of that use case. You get the information about how many of the users who are accessing a particular application. You get information about threats. You get information about the amount of data transferred. And from here, by click of a button, you can define a policy to make it a sanctioned, a tolerated, or an unsanctioned application. So everything is happening from one single console. From your visibility, you can convert your visibility into your policy actions. And you can further drill down into a particular application. There you see the application risk score. So this is that score that we are identifying based on the various inputs that we have collected on those 60 attributes that I talked about. This gives the complete control in the hand of the admins so that they can control the risks related to these applications. So this is what I wanted to cover. This is like a brief demo about Gen AI application dashboard that we have. Can we roll back to the slides, please? Next one. So what we do in Palo Alto is every time we release a new product, we always dog food that product. So basically Palo Alto Networks IT will deploy that product in the company. And this is a case study of what they gained by deploying secure access security in Palo Alto Networks. So I would focus on the key impacts that we achieved with the help of this product. The IT team was able to identify that there are 124 applications, the Gen AI applications that were being used by employees of the company. They had no idea about this. When they deployed the product, within a week they found out, oh, there are so many applications that are being used by the employees of the company. And then they started working on that concept of classifying the applications into sanctioned, tolerated, and unsanctioned application. And you can see they classified around 11 applications as sanctioned applications. These were like business critical applications. They classified 18 as tolerated and 95 as unsanctioned. So for 95 Gen AI applications, they blocked access for the users. Because of this product, they figured out that these applications are risky in nature. We should not allow users to interact with these Gen AI applications. In addition to this, the team also identified the scenarios or the possibilities of data loss, and they were able to act on the recommendations and create 12 new data profiles that helped them to protect against data leakage. So this is the real story, the case study of this product being deployed by Palo Alto IT. Now, this is the last slide. I hope you find the presentation interesting, and the product is something that helps to solve your current need. For the next steps, I would recommend you to take a picture of this slide because this has QR codes, and using the QR codes, you can go and learn more about the capabilities of secure access. And if you want more deeper demonstrations, please click on the thing on the right side, and someone from our team will connect with you for detailed demonstration. Thank you. Thank you for time.
Thank you very much. Sapan, just, okay, super quick one. We'll just.
Sir, thank you so much. It was quite insightful. My only question is that when organizations actually classify the overall Gen AI process with sanctioned, tolerated, and unsanctioned, is there any specific recommendations that you provide to organizations that how do we categorize that? What are the benchmarks or differentiators into classification of what should be tolerated, what should be sanctioned and banned?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. So actually I touched base upon the risk score. So what we do is based on the attributes that are defined for the Gen AI application, we encapsulate all of those attributes to define a risk score for each of these applications. And if you go to our application page, we give lot of detailed information about what that application is, what is the use case, how they are using the data, how they're using the data to train the model. So we provide all of that information. So you can go drill down into application to understand the application, and based on your specific industry needs, you can define what you want to do. If you don't want to do that, you can just rely on the risk score that we are giving, and based on a risk score, you can define that the applications above a particular risk score should not be defined as sanctioned applications. So if your business also reaches out to you and says that we need this application to be there in our enterprise, you can get to the risk score, you can get to the details and share with them why it is not a right application to be used.